family too. And I think as we go to prayer, we're gonna think about all the things that's happened and the people that's been affected, and let's see if we can get the Lord to listen to us. Let's bow our heads for prayer. Our most precious Heavenly Father, you know our needs and you know the things that we have gone through this week. We know there's a reason for everything. But when we start doing business for the people in the town, this board is going to follow their needs and the needs that you put for us to do too. We have a big job in putting this budget together, and they've done, the department heads have done a really good job providing information for Kim, and we really appreciate that. But we have a tough job ahead of us in all the things that we've got to do with infrastructure and things that's got to be done for the town. And we want to keep the Lord out in front, making sure that we don't run off the road and that we do the things that's pleasing in their sight and pleasing for the town of Benson. And bless all of you that have come here tonight and provide input to the things that we have on the agenda. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I made that motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Public comments. Individuals wishing to address the board are asked to provide their name and address for the record and come forward at this time.
My name is Deborah Davis. I'm with Sisters to Ice Cream. My address is P.O. Box 24, Benson, North Carolina. And I appreciate you all listening to us. And I just want to thank you in advance. What we're, public comments I would like to make is we're concerned about the parking on South Market Street. If you notice that the pictures that you have in your packets, the cars are all parked there, and there's not a, they're there from 10, 11 o'clock until midnight at night. There is no other room for anybody to go in and out on the streets. It is very disconcerting. We got customers that come in and they don't know where to park. And we've told them where they could park, like they have to walk a ways to get to our establishment and the other people on the block. We feel we just would like a little bit of help with this matter. We have, all of us on Market Street has spent a good portion of our savings to start our businesses, and we're just asking for some help. We don't know what can be done, but we would like to see some be done, like 2-hour parking or a sign that says customer parking only, some spots like that. I'm not sure that that's possible, but that is one thing we would like to see done if that's possible. The other thing we would like to see, as you can tell, the, all of the windows you can't see with the trees. I'd like to address the trees also. If we could have them removed in front of our storefronts, we'd be glad to pay for our own, maybe block out roses in front of there so it can be easily taken care of. And we would purchase that ourselves, and we would take care of our own little square in front of our establishment ourselves. So it would not fall on you guys to take care of. If you're concerned about car doors bumping into any planterns and stuff, we can just make sure they remain low so anything, you know, the car doors will not hit it. That's what we would like to have done.
Okay.
Is there any questions or any?
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have one. This parking, is this every day to the week?
It's on the weekends. That's where we have the most trouble, is on the
You
weekends.
say it's from 10 a.m.?
Around 10 a.m., 11 o'clock a.m., they start coming in and parking, and then they patrol the area. I don't know if that parking spot, that's that open parking, that private parking spot, I don't know if they got permission to use that, but they do patrol that area so nobody else could go in there. Even if there was a spot, it's being patrolled. So I don't know.
So
What can we
Deborah,
do?
this is the church across the street
Yes,
that, I mean, I go by there at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you have got as many as 50 or 60 cars still parked out there.
yes, sir.
I don't think that would be a problem for your business, but I have been when I wondered how people can go in and out of your business because both sides and the parking lot on the end and the parking lot all the way back to, the sweet potato house is completely,
Completely booked.
yeah. So you couldn't really say, well, we need to move them back because they've already been moved back.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if there's anything, I don't know, if we could just have some spots designated for us, or
Is there not on,
2-hour parking, or something to that effect.
I think on, is that Elm Street that runs between J Don's and the Glamorama and the new parking lot? I believe there's 2-hour parking spaces there on the major streets in front of the businesses. Do y'all know, Greg? On Johnson Street, like on the corner, if you hang a right at Midland and Dorman, aren't there 2-hour parking spaces there on that street? 2-hour limits between hours of like 9 to 5? Right, I mean, I don't think that we have any ability to enforce anything on the private property, because that parking lot on the end's all 3 different owners in private property, because we talked a couple of years ago about trying to get a hold of that to create public parking, and we're unsuccessful, I think, in those conversations.
So
But
they, as far as we know though, they have permission to park out there.
I do not know. I have a
that's not
phone
any,
call.
I mean, that's not, yeah.
I have a
that's-
phone call into them to see if they do have permission to park there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Even if
I
they
really don't know.
If they don't, they would have to put up no trespassing signs to run them off. Is that not correct? Because they do, I mean, we
That's
don't have any,
exactly
we don't have any enforcement on the private property, but we, I think we can look at doing 2 hours. We should look and see if 2 hour between hours of 9 and 5 or something on the street, because we can enforce the street parking.
How about in front of their businesses though, as far as a, 30-minute park for customers only
Only.
during business hours?
Yes, sir.
You-
I don't know how that works,
I don't know that you would want to limit it to that amount of time, that short of amount of time, because 30 minutes, if they want to stop and get ice cream cone, then go see the leather shop, and then go see Roy's Saddle Shop, they're not gonna have enough time to,
And
I don't think that that's too short.
According, I got, the person with the leather shop, he's here also, and he's, and we both do, we, draw customers in from 95. Because we've had phone calls come in and saying, hey, look, you know, I'm coming in off of 95, can you kind of direct me in there? And he's got people coming in off of 95 also. So, you know, we're trying our best.
I think the main thing would be to try to limit that to customers of downtown area and go 2 hours. Cause y'all do birthday
We do
parties.
birthday
How long
parties.
do they last, those blocks last?
An hour and a half?
So I mean, realistically, they would need that, they would need parking to be able to sit there for 2 hours.
Well, we got some on Main, haven't we?
I don't know, there's any 30-minute.
No,
I think
not
they're all
30
2
minute,
hour.
but 2 hour.
I think all the public streets, all the major thoroughfares on the main, they ought to be looked at to see if they all can be 2 hours. Cause I got chewed out about another street, I won't say I got chewed out, I got concerns from another street about a week and a half ago about the parking at the same rate.
Mhm.
And I don't know.
Well, if you did that on that street all the way up though, then you have got, the Levisons that's parking throughout the day on their street. Or do you start?
Mm.
And how's it enforced?
Well, the
Well, it
Levison
can be
has
enforced.
that one
You
whole
don't have,
building, so
no
they park
trespassing.
up closer to us, and then but they could back up their parking right next to their building, so I don't know. They've got a side
As
door.
far
they
as
use.
Market Street goes, if the signs go up, they can be enforced. As far as that parking lot, we couldn't enforce that because that's private property.
That's right.
Right.
I mean, I'm
Not
just
Well, I
looking,
know that, I'm talking about the side street, you don't have any trespassing signs on that side over there, right? Is there anything that says you can't park there? Letting people know you can't park there?
on the side streets or
The street she's talking about.
right in front of their business.
There's nothing there right now.
There's no.
I
there's no
mean,
signs.
even on the other side, if there's no, well then, you know,
Well,
I mean, we could put something there,
what do you,
but we can't on the end.
I think, I got called about Railroad Street about a week ago because there's a lot of angry people on Railroad Street as well. And I think that the issue, this is an ongoing issue that's gonna happen through town as the businesses continue to come and continue to bring more employees. The
And we're
employees
gro-
don't have anywhere to park either.
We're growing at that end also, because
That's
I believe their hands are gonna change, for Danforth's auction, I think.
That's correct. There's
That's
fixing to be
fixing to
another
change
business
to another person, so I
Jim.
don't know.
Will you get, you and Greg get together and investigate this and come back with a recommendation to the board or what you think?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll get with Aaron. We'll have Aaron in the meeting too for
Right.
planning.
Well, the parking is one issue. Okay, let's hit the
Trees?
trees. That's a different issue. Are all the trees blocking, on both sides, blocking each intersection?
They're
I
not,
mean, are each tree blocking, the storefronts?
yes.
So
the visibility
all
of
of
the
'em-
storefront.
All of them would need to come down if we did anything.
Well, no, now the trees that's next to the building at Levinson does not have to come down, because there's no
Okay,
windows
well,
right
that's what
there.
I wanted to know. Are you talking about everything or just the ones that's blocking the leather shop, your shop? Because they are hard to see now. The
And
trees
Roy's,
have grown great.
right, well, they
Yeah.
do grow
And the
great.
shoe
I
shop.
mean,
Yeah.
It's not
And
just, that- well,
Roy's Saddle Shop, he's got a lot of people coming and going also, because it's his show season and everybody buys new saddles and repairs shoes, and he's got a great business also.
Well, he's
So,
got a sign beside the street though.
that's not just a concern there, though. I was with Paul at his new building on the corner, which is the old Dixie Divas, and he's fixing to have a sign put up. And the first thing I told him, I said, well, you realize where you're putting up that sign's right behind that tree, and nobody's gonna be able to see it. And so we had the same conversation this week about that. I think when Matt Zapp was here, we had the conversation as a board that those trees needed to be removed and a smaller tree planted. And I think the reason he said that he wanted to hold off was maybe because of Mule Days or Christmas on Main, and I don't think we ever revisited that. But they've matured to the point now where they need to be all pulled up and replaced with a smaller,
They're not
Something.
they're not the best choice of tree
right?
at all. I mean, they grow out and they're, yeah, it's
And,
kind of a hazard.
Yeah, and Roy's fixing to put a new awning on his, building, or he's got a quote for it, and he's
Right.
working on getting it taken care of, so he's gonna have a brand new awning also, so.
Look
We
into
can,
those.
we can
two
definitely talk about it with
situations.
Public Works. Mhm.
See what we can do. Anyone else would like to come before the board?
Thank you for listening to us, appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Mr. Neighbors, just to clarify, the only listed 2-hour parking is
Railroad Street and, South Railroad Street, 3 spaces.
South Railroad Street. There's some kind of sign beside Mellon and Dorman. That's not 2-hour parking only?
Not just listed in the table.
Okay.
I got a question for you though. As far as enforcement, you get a call that, business owner complains the car's been there for more than 2 hours. No pictures, no timestamp, no nothing. What do you do?
We would have to start the clock over.
That's what I'm saying. It would have to be started over. It's gonna be, if this goes on, the business owners need to understand that they probably need to take pictures. That way it shows the date and the time.
Right.
So, either that or go to metered parking. So, huh?
So that's what I just said. Right, I mean, it creates a cost for people, right?
Yeah.
They could pay all day and couldn't move them, but as long as they were paying, but people wouldn't sit there and have to pay it.
So that, let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
So that means if there's somebody in front of our store and they've been there for, over 2 hours, we can take a picture of them? Or when they got there
You
and
can't
when
now
they,
'cause there's no.
Have you got security cameras on the outside of your business?
no.
Okay.
I do.
That's the reason why I was bringing it up as far as enforcement, because I knew when the police got there, if there's nothing that's been time stamped with the time, they would probably start the clock over. So that's why I'm letting you aware, you notice something like that, you got to take a picture with a time stamp, that way, you got proof of it.
Okay. All right, we can certainly do that. Then we would just call them, or is this something that they could do a random drive-by every so often?
Well,
They
he-
can't
What?
do
They
anything
can't
if the
Not now.
signs
I'm
go
Yeah,
up.
serious.
signs gotta go
Okay.
up.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
We'd have to put
I'll let you know.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Anyone else like to come and address the board? Hello, Loretta.
Hello. While this can is open, I want to add one more thing to it. First of all, thank you for being a business-oriented board. Businesses are what's keeping this town going. So I appreciate your consideration. Now I would like for you to have staff consider a way that we can put some type of signage on the corner of Market and Main, Railroad and Main, because we have some great businesses down those streets, and we have a lot of out-of-town people that are coming into town now. So we need some kind of wayfinding signs for those businesses on the side streets. So I would appreciate your consideration of that.
Good idea.
Thank you.
You got that on your list?
I do. Just know that anything we do that costs money will not happen until July 1.
Well, the chamber can help pay for the signs if you don't have the money.
All right, put that in the minutes.
Unless we have a mule day's rain out.
Anyone else like to come forward? Nobody else come forward, I close the public comments. We had two department reports, cultural arts and fire department. Does anybody have any questions? I see Alan. If nobody has any questions, under new business, consider approval of purchase order over 10,000. Angie?
Okay, back in August, you guys approved for them to get a ditch switch, and it was like 72,000. Well, no, it was actually 75. Staff has decided that they would like to have a excavator, and it's 52,500, so it's a lot less than the ditch switch, so we just need the approval for them to get that.
So we've canceled the order of the ditch witch. The Mini-X is actually at the dealer right now. We could have it tomorrow if y'all approve this.
And it's cheaper based.
And it's-
And we'd already approved.
Yes.
I make the
Yep.
motion, we approve the excavator at the cheaper cost.
What's the difference in the two?
The Mini-X is just, my understanding is they
I
can.
know 20,000, I'm talking about what difference does it do? What's the difference?
The
What does
Mini-X
it
is
do?
it has more features to it. They can get around in smaller areas a little bit easier than the ditch witch. And it can be used in other departments besides electric. It can be used in public works and wastewater as well. So,
The trencher, all it's gonna do is dig a trench, and it's about that wide, and it's got a blade, and that's about all you can do with it.
mhm,
Typically, it does have a blade on there to backfill, but you're having to tamp and everything.
Yep.
But the Mini X, you can dig a hole, backfill it, and then tamp it with the same machine.
Yep.
It's more
Versatile.
yeah.
We have a He made a motion. Any other questions? All in
That is
favor, say
with-
aye.
That is the excavator, and we're not going with the other.
No, the
That's right,
ditch witch
yeah.
has
We're
been
not coming
canceled.
up. We're not coming
And we're not gonna
up.
ask for a ditch witch July 1.
We are not, no, sir. No, not at all.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
We just paid for ours.
Ayes have it.
Yeah.
Presentation of the budget.
Alrighty. So you all have a copy of the budget letter at your desk. You also have a copy, y'all had asked at the board retreat on Saturday about the donations that were being made. So you have a letter of explanation from everyone that we made donation, that are in the donations, except for I have not heard back from the Harbor House yet. So there is a 2-page front and back. You have an explanation from the Chamber, the Johnston County Arts, Red Cross, and Council on Aging. So that is available for y'all. Now, keep in mind, you do not vote on the budget tonight. We will have a public hearing on June the 14th. It has been advertised in the paper yesterday. Sorry, let me get myself together here.
I think it says she got it for everybody.
Did you get it?
Yeah, but you got it back from everybody but.
But the Harbor House.
But the harbor.
Yes, and if they get back in touch with me, I'll email it to y'all.
Okay.
Yep. All right, so in the budget letter, the total budget for this year is $15,171,133. The general fund is comprised of $5,735,985. Water and sewer is $3,992,736, and the electric fund is $5,442,412. The tax valuation is $345,765,937. Staff is proposing a 3-cent increase in tax from 55 to 58. That will give us a tax value, a property tax revenue of $2,005,442.43. We're estimating the DMV at $170,000. And again, as mentioned on Saturday, 1 penny yields $34,576. So if you have a home that's $200,000 currently at 55 cents, their annual tax is $1,100. With a 3-cent increase, it would be $1,160. So that's a $60 increase annually, which is $5 a month on property tax. The general fund is comprised of the Board of Commissioners, the general government, planning and zoning, police, street maintenance, fire, museum, library, and parks and recreation. You can see here that the biggest circles on here, general government is 27%, police is 27%, then it's fire at 15%, and they're standing at their 12-cent tax rate. Parks and recreation is at 13%, planning is at 8%, streets are at 5%, library is at 2%, and the Board of Commissioners and the museum is at 1%. The current budget does have a 3% COLA for all employees and a 0 to 5% merit increase if they are out of their probationary period, which our probationary period is 365 days. So they would not be eligible for any merit increase until the 23-24 fiscal year. For a general fund, the added positions, we have cut some positions that we had talked about on Saturday. So the added positions that are maintained in the budget is a project manager, an inspector level 3, a code enforcement officer, which we have decided to hold off on that one until January. Currently, we still have an employee in the office that has to take his exam for probationary level 2s, so he can focus on code enforcement while we try to get a level 3 inspector, let the revenues come in and kind of beef up the planning department revenues, and then we'll bring in the code enforcement officer in January. And then for the Parks and Recreation, they've asked for 2 new full-timers, a maintenance parks assistant and an athletics parks assistant. This is due to the increase in tournaments that they'll be having with the new field and just the amount of maintenance that they have to keep, and just the all-in-all scheduling and keeping up with those things. The Water and Sewer Fund, we did hear back from the City of Dunn. They have proposed a 6.5% increase in our bulk water rate. I think that's going to stay where it is now. Johnston County was a 6% increase, so we have asked for a 10% increase in the water and the sewer consumption fees or consumption rate. And then we're also increasing the water tap fees for water and sewer because of the cost of materials has gone up. So we have an estimated cost of what materials will be through the end of the year, and so anybody who gets a water tap, it will literally be a direct wash. I also moved the system development fee study into the water and sewer fund as opposed to being in the general fund on Saturday. I rethought that is strictly a water and sewer revenue builder, so it needs to come out of the water and sewer fund. They're able to cover that. And then their capital projects are they need to upgrade their SCADA system. They need a booster pump improvements, insertion valve, 2 new trucks, and they've asked for 2 new public utility specialists. And then the electric fund, their total fund is $5,442,412. This does show a proposed $1 base fee increase, and if y'all remember last year we got rid of load management, and so we took the load management base fee and the non-load management base fee and we averaged them out. But if y'all recall, in 2015 we did a study that showed that the overhead would essentially cost $30 a customer. So this puts it at $20 a customer. We're still not making enough in overhead, but it will increase it a little bit, and then we're asking for a 5% increase in electric rates on the kilowatt usage, and then the area lights. Just a little 5% increase on that because the cost of LED lights has gone up. They are asking for an additional line tech. Class A is what we're looking for. If we get a high Class B, that would be okay too. And then they would need 1 new just F-150 type truck. So if you notice, we removed the 3 firemen that we had talked about on Saturday. We decided we were going to wait and see if we got approved for the SAFER grant, and then if we get approved for it, we'll come back to the board and we'll ask for an amendment to the budget with knowing that funding stream is in place. And if y'all have any questions, I mean, there's nothing really different from what we discussed on Saturday.
So the bucket truck was took out.
Do what now?
The bucket truck was took out. Those little buckets?
The squirt bucket, we had not intended on having a payment in this fiscal year anyway. So it doesn't say that we're not going to try to get it, and it would be the first payment would be in the 23-24 fiscal year. We would come to the board with that, but it is still a need. But it wouldn't be a payment we would make this year because we have a 2018 line truck that payment falls off this year. So we didn't want to add a new one this year.
And the line tech Class A, that's somebody we had to have anyway, correct?
We have a vacant position, so this would be addition to the vacant position, so we could have 2 crews in the electric department.
That's not position under Glenn.
It is under Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's an added position under Glenn.
Added position.
So you have a vacant right now that we're interviewing for next Friday, and then we're asking for an additional in the upcoming fiscal year.
Okay. So actually, y'all are interviewing the guy that, say, Mark was when he was here.
Correct. We have 6 interviews on
But
Friday.
that's not the additional person we're looking at.
No, sir.
One more.
One more.
So this would bring the electrical department up to what, if you got this other person? How many people would that be?
Let's see, we have, let me count. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We would have 7. So we would have 2 3-man crews and the superintendent. So we could essentially have an A, a B, and a groundsman go off and do this job, an A, a B, and a groundsman go off and do this job, and then Glenn would be filtering between both and working on office work and all that.
So Glenn is back?
Yes, ma'am, he decided not to retire.
So if I recall correctly, one of the biggest concerns we got out of the electrical department discussion was the amount of overtime that they were working.
Mhm.
Is a Class A required to be on overtime?
Yes.
So this would allow there to be a rotation of overtime between 2 different crews without keeping the same person on overtime every.
Correct. Yep.
And the contract person that we've got now, when that contract is over, he's out.
Yep. His last day is June the 4th.
June the 4th.
Mhm.
Okay, that was my next
Next
question.
week,
When-
yep.
When was his last day?
Yep. It'll be June 4th, Friday,
Okay.
because June 4th is a Saturday, so. Mhm.
Any other questions?
So we will have a public hearing at the next board meeting. If any of you would like to come and sit and talk with me further about this, I'm open, just let me know. And then the budget will be in Angie's office for anybody who wants to come and view it from the public.
But she really needs the information before you get to the public hearing.
Yeah. Absolutely, that would be nice.
The final document.
One other thing, you had asked, William, at the board retreat on Saturday. So our general fund was at 43% at the end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
We had originally budgeted, $200,200 in this current budget, so that would put us at 38%, coming into the new year before the audit. Now, the audit usually, once we get all the audit entries done, it usually yields higher than that, but that's a good estimate. The electric fund was at 20%. So coming into a new fiscal year before an audit, it would be at 17. And then the water and sewer fund, if y'all recall, we are still building that up. So part of this rate increase in water and sewer is going to help us continue to build that fund back up. But at the end of the fiscal year, it was at 7%.
But with the 38% general fund balance, if we do what you're proposing,
Mhm.
which is a tax increase and rate increase and usage increase and increase across the board, then that would not pull, this budget does not include anything pulled other than capital.
Correct.
Other than the capital things that we talked about Saturday.
Right, and we would put us at 30% at that point before the audit,
Okay.
if you looked at those numbers. And keep in mind, y'all, the cost of materials has gone up. The cost of doing business in general has gone up. Gas prices have gone up. So we don't want to do an increase, but in order for us to be able to maintain the services that we currently have and to continue running those services, with all the developments coming up, we need staff, and we're going to have to increase our prices in order to keep up with the prices that we're getting from public. So we didn't want to do it, but like I told y'all at the board retreat, there was no fluff in this budget. And what we cut, I hated cutting some of these staff positions that they asked for, but we couldn't do it with what we had right now. So hopefully next year, we'll have a few more homes in, we'll have some industrial sites up and running, and we'll be getting tax revenue off of that. I would love to see the tax revenue go back down after next year, but right now, we're still in a building time. So this is how we can get it to balance right now. But the budget is balanced.
Any other questions?
All right.
Okay. Now, how about the fee schedule?
Okay, I'll talk about that. In your package, you have the fee schedule, and then on the third page, you have the amended changes. And Kim has got a things that are, if you, like you said, you can go through them, but, one thing that's changed with the penalties as with utilities is usually a 1.5%, and it's gonna be proposed to be increased to 5%. Late fee, there were some changes to the auditorium rentals, cause we haven't had, they've been like the same for years, right, Kim?
Yeah.
So if you have any questions on that, but like I said, everything is highlighted. Any
Some-
changes that were done.
Some other ones is Erin, and for planning and zoning, she has increased the fees in planning and zoning as well. So keep in mind of that.
Anybody have any questions?
Did Johnston County go up on their, trade permit?
I'm not sure. We can look and see.
I know, I think I read something about they were going up on the price on the permit. And I know we'd like charge $60, I think Clayton charged 75.
Yeah, I know, that Rick proposed their budget last night or
Yeah.
Tuesday, and it's staying at 73. They're adding 55 positions, 3 are in the planning department, so I would assume that they are raising their fees. I didn't read the full article, but.
Any questions of, Angie?
Angie, do you really feel like these increases are enough?
Well, we had a discussion about that today, and we also looked at other municipalities to see, but we hated to go from, like, the mule days permits where we're at 25, and we increased them to, we do 50 or 40?
40.
40, because we hated to do such a big increase, but they, I mean, yeah, we definitely needed to go up because.
Would they not be charged the same thing as a food truck that comes in here every weekend though? We charge the food trucks 50.
So it was called Mule Days. It actually wasn't in the fee schedule at all. It was on the application, so we've added it to the fee schedule, but it really needs to be a special events permit. I mean, because you have stuff downtown all the time too that'll come in, or you have stuff in the Grove, that goes to Parks and Rec. So we just pulled it in as a special event permit, and it will all generate into the general fund.
Everybody quiet?
We're soaking
I-
all this in.
Yeah.
Now, I will be back to ask some questions, believe me.
Absolutely, we'll be available. And y'all got this fee schedule too on Saturday, so I mean, nothing's
I'll
really
be asking
changed.
some
You're
questions.
gonna schedule the, open hearing for meeting in June?
June 14th, it's already been posted. We put it in the newspaper yesterday. We had to have 10 days, so Angie's already done that, so it'll be June 14th.
We'll see you next week.
I'll be there.
Really, what I was asking as far as the fees increases, I know how much time has been spent in our water and sewer department when we go out and make a tap and we cut the road and put it down. I just want to make sure that we're being covered at least what it's costing us to send 3-4 men out there. That excavator that we're talking about, that's what they're gonna be using that for. Are we covered with the increase?
In sewer, we definitely are covered. We didn't change that. We looked at the materials for what we've got to do in that aspect, and we're not changing that. It's good. In water, we're breaking even on materials. So,
What are the other towns? I mean, I'm hearing these crazy figures. You go in, and if you get a water tap in Wake County, it's gonna cost you just triple of what we're paying. I'm not looking at making, but if you're just breaking even, there's that one time that you don't break even, that it's cost you and put you back.
oh yeah,
I
Yeah.
just
I
wonder
think the
because
county raised theirs to 800 for time and materials, if I read it right.
I think the water taps in the county are pushing $3,000 if you need to buy and hook onto the county. We're behind the county. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Charging.
yeah, we're
I just-
behind.
Well, I see the checks, and when those 4 cuts on Parish Drive, not Parish Drive, but,
Lincoln?
North Lincoln,
Lincoln.
was made, $6,400, and, I question, but, I think our fee was like $400.
Well, now it
Cost of a pile on those.
it read,
Not only
no,
that,
they
did
paid for those.
3, and then they came back another month when they did the others and cut some more. I'm just wondering, and we had to have an outside service to do that while they were in.
Because they were
Yeah.
rushing for it.
I'm
Yeah,
just,
but they did pay for the full amount of those.
Did they?
Yes, sir, they did. We sent the invoice to them,
well,
and they
that's,
paid it.
that's what I'm wondering, if we're right in line. I'm not for sticking anybody because I've got a business and I've got a home, and I know that these extra costs, lights, whatever it's gonna cost, but if we're breaking even, I just don't see it when they go anywhere else. If they say, well, we can go to Dunn and get it done for half, okay, then we're not in line. But if they're going to Dunn and it's costing them twice as much, I'm just looking at our surrounding area. If we're covering our bases for what, that's what we talked about Saturday. If, it depends on what we want. If we're gonna provide the service, then we have got to provide a billing service for that. So, I mean, this, breaking it even, ain't getting it.
Well, we can call around too.
Yeah, we can find out some more.
What the other municipalities around this area.
Keep in mind, the water tap fee was, 600 or the cost to the town. I mean, and they also have to pay for the meter. And if you look at it on page 12,
That's only 2 inches or above though, right?
yeah, now it's 2 inch or above is the cost of the town. A 1.5 is 26.20, a 1 inch is 8.55, and a 3/4 inch is 7.50. And then you gotta tag on the cost of the meter to that as well.
We just wanna make sure, I think what Will's getting at, and I agree, is we wanna make sure that the growth that we're experiencing right now is paying for itself.
Yep.
And that our existing residents are not eating the cost for the growth that's coming.
Agreed, and that is why that system development policy is gonna be really important, because that's gonna get your fees back in water and sewer as well.
And how is this gonna affect the new next grid that we've got to add to this and pull the old stuff to make it work?
That's the cost of the meters, that's built into this. They have to pay for their meters. So all that, so that's communication and everything, that's covered.
Yeah, the county, 3/4 inch, water tap, it was from $600, now they charge $800 minimum. Or then it says the amount could be higher.
Yeah.
And then it looks like they charge for a water meter fee too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do too.
$240 to $260.
So we can change the verbiage from, instead of it saying a flat $750, we can say $750 or the cost of the town on every single one of them, because we know the materials are gonna be. Yeah, we can do that.
Does that cost of the town include our labor costs as well?
It doesn't typically, no, we've never included that in. I mean, we can.
I would like to see what our other municipalities are charging and see how we stack up. We got one shot at this and one shot to collect to get our money. I wanna make sure that we get what we can out of the growth. I don't wanna stick anybody, but if it's costing us $400 to send 4 guys over there for an hour to do it in labor and the excavator and everything else,
Yeah.
we need to be recouping that.
All right,
Well, the bad,
We'll
the
add it
bad
in.
thing about the water, I mean, it's cheaper to do the tap if it's, renting the right of way and the grass and dirt and everything, but majority of the water lines are under asphalt, and that's where it gets expensive.
yeah. That's usually when we call in the contractor, but yeah.
So let's,
We'll look at it. We'll reevaluate it.
Does that get all the fees?
Mhm. Yep.
Town
And their
manager.
bulk water rate, we can't do a whole lot about that, but are we gonna be covered with the 6% increase from Dunn and we're gonna stay at 252?
We're gonna,
they're gonna raise it.
no, we're raising them 10%.
10% raise to
Okay,
account
to
for
cover
that.
that.
To cover that.
Yeah.
That's part of their,
To cover that and to help build that fund back up.
Okay.
Okay, Cam.
can we get a list of the, I know we talked about it Saturday, but can I get a concrete list of what that 38 to 30% drop in fund balance, exactly what capital projects that is going to pay for?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I can tell you.
I know we talked about a lot of wishes on Saturday, and I get the wishes and exactly what we're paying for mixed up.
Yeah.
We don't
So-
have all that money yet.
So there's an ADA transition plan that needs to happen, so we don't lose our PAL bill money.
And how much was that? I was probably in the book, don't worry about it.
Salary study.
Yep.
And of course, we will not pull the trigger on the salary study until we've had more conversation about it, but we wanted to have it in there as a buffer.
Okay.
The town manager search is in that. And then there's a complete overhaul of the UDO. And then in electric, we're going to continue with our poles change-outs. We try to hit our asset management plan on poles, and we're trying to change those out annually. And then finish up with the tree trimming, the hotline tree trimming. And then once that's done, it'll be just maintenance every year. We won't have to hit it as hard as we have this year and next year.
So all of that's is planned to come out of fund balance already.
Yep. And if we want to continue with putting money in the street paving project, there's some in there for that as well, along with the POW bill money.
If we still, at one point in time, Tim had a plan on what streets were,
Mhm.
are we still going off of that? And can we look at that? Because if there's any paving that can be done, we need to be doing it.
We do have that list, and I can get that for y'all. But keep in mind, we've discussed the fact that we know in the next few years, every quadrant in town is going to be having some sort of construction on it for infrastructure. And so the plan is to build that into those bid packets. So we tear up a street, we put lines in, we put a brand-new street down, we move on. What we don't want to see is, we have a lot of old pipes in the ground, so we do not want to pave it and then 6 months later come through and tear it up, because that's a waste of asphalt. And it's very expensive right now. So we're trying to build those into those infrastructure projects that we're working on.
What are we putting, $200,000? Is it $200,000 a year we're putting
Yeah.
in addition to the power fund?
100,000.
100 to make it.
100 of fund and fund balance and
100.
whatever POW bill was, yeah. Yeah.
How much is it up to now?
We've done it for 2 years, so we'll transfer it in this year. It'll be,
I say it's about 500 or 600.
yeah, it'll be 500,000 at the end of this year. We're gonna bring that budget amendment forward for y'all at the next, board meeting as well, to go ahead and move that money over. POW bill actually came in a little bit higher this year, which is good, so you won't have to take as much out of fund balance, to get
Well, we're doing
that
right
dollar
now
amount.
what we need to do to keep that money.
Mhm.
There was some stuff that hadn't been done.
That's the ADA transition plan. So when this budget gets approved, I will send that out to Withers, and they will get started on that immediately, because that's like one of the first things that needs to get done. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Being a mess.
Town manager's report.
Did you want to talk about the customer service policy real quick?
Yeah, and the customer service policy is not changing. It will be the same as it was last year, except for, if approved, the 5% late fee will increase. But everything else will remain the same on that. No changes.
Okay.
So you said 5% increase on
Late.
Late charges. Right now, it's a 1.5%.
on late charges?
for utility. If they're not paid by the day, it's the 22nd. If they're not paid, then they usually get a 1.5. Was proposed for them to start getting a 5% increase. Still low.
Yeah, it is.
Is that any better now that it's pay as you go if you, or no, it's the same thing?
It's not, no, it's not any better.
Okay,
I mean, you have more customers on prepay now.
yeah.
They don't have to pay a deposit to be on prepay. And so you're seeing the benefit of that, but you're still seeing the same people every month get cut off. But we're not having to roll trucks, really. The process is you cut off electric first, and we usually leave water on. We don't roll the truck until 10 days after they've been disconnected, and then we actually close the account at that point, and then we roll the truck and cut the water off.
And it's the same people every month that's willing to pay that extra to get it cut back on.
Mm-hmm. And some pay the extra after hours to get it cut back on, yeah.
Well, wouldn't they be better off with prepay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Have you talked to them?
we have.
I'm sure you have.
A lot of times, though, I mean, there's some stipulations with prepay. Social services is not as open to helping pay. I mean, they'll give you a certain amount, but I think a lot of people, if they're trying to get help from social services, they have an easier time doing it if they're on traditional billing. So,
There was a discussion, if you did get cut off for non-payment, you automatically get it.
not automatically, not automatically. And it's after so many times, and we need to crack down on it. But, you know, COVID has made us a little bit more lenient on making people go to prepay, but that's behind us, and so we can start cracking down on it again. All right, manager's report. Okay. I have a couple things I want to say. First of all, the police department wants to thank the Board of Commissioners for the work that y'all have done for them over the last year. They, as of this week, only have one more vacant position, and they have a few applicants in the pike, so we're looking to have that filled very, very soon. But the work that y'all have done with the police department has really paid off. We have seen a drastic change in applications come in and interest to the town of Benson, so we're really excited about that. I also want to say that I sat this morning for probably, well, it's all morning. I think I got back to the office at 1. In the water and sewer department at Public Works, we had a state inspection, and I just want to give praise to Ray and Jeremy. They did a great job. They had everything prepared and ready, and they passed with flying colors. No findings. They went out to the water tower and all of our interconnection points with the county and with Dunn, and it went really, really well. So you guys should be very proud of the staff that you have in Public Works. They worked really hard to prepare for this inspection, and they did a great job. Town Hall will be closed on Monday for Memorial Day. And then one other thing is we had a Veterans Memorial meeting on Tuesday, and on your desk in front of you, you've got something that looks like this. This is the proposed design for the Veterans Memorial, and I think the mayor wanted to maybe have some discussion, see your thoughts on that. I do have it in a larger scale if you guys want me to roll it out and y'all look at it really quick. But this is what the Veterans Memorial has looked at that lot, and it does show 6 benches, 6 flags of service. There's a battlefield cross, a monument in the middle, and they're planning on selling brick pavers to help fund this project. So, and there's also an email attached that has some explanation that I gave y'all as well. And Ms. Maxine and the mayor were both there, so they can comment on it as well.
Well, the big question besides what she just said was cutting down the big tree. Is there any reason why we can't cut that tree down?
Do y'all know which tree he's talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
That big tree.
That big tree. Will.
I know which one.
Alright.
I'm still pondering, I'm still struggling with this, and y'all know I'm on the committee, I want this veteran parks, but the more I consider.
Is that the reason you didn't cut?
No, I had a ball game, I told Kim.
I told him.
She's had a ball game tonight, I had to choose which one I skipped. So, I just know that we paid a lot of money for that as a town for that parcel, and that is prime real estate. And if you ever want to see our downtown quadrant grow, I'm not saying we don't need a park in downtown, but if you ever want to see another 2 or 3 story business, 2-story, 3-story business come to Main Street, we don't have any dirt for it. And part of the biggest issue we've got as a downtown business is we've got businesses that want to be here and we don't have space for them. And so I just wonder, I want the park to be in that downtown or where, I want them to be remembered, but I just wonder, we paid $175,000 for that piece of dirt. We use
Plus tearing the house down.
Plus tearing the house down. So you might as well say we have $200,000 in that piece of dirt, our taxpayers' dollars. And if we do this, other than, I just don't see the taxpayers getting a return on that. If we're even worried about a return on that, I don't know. I just worry, we don't have any more downtown to grow. You can't go to the west, because Lord knows every time we get asked about rezoning a lot, they line up out the door. And so if you grow to the east, that's it. Unless you can talk, because a couple of people in the bind, that property and then the property behind because you can't touch what's across the street because it's historic. We've already been down that road which is across from McDonald's where they do the yard sale. That block is historic. There's no development going to happen there. And so that's the only parcel you've got left on Main Street downtown. And so I'm just throwing that out there for thought. I don't, because like we talked about, one of the biggest conversations we had Saturday was, are we making decisions for today, or are we making decisions for 20 years from now? And once we put that there, that's there forever, and there's no changing that.
But the reason that area was purchased, it wasn't for business to go there.
Right.
It was to straighten that street out, to come right straight across Dunn Street,
Right.
and it wasn't gonna generate anything, so they could put a roundabout in. Now, that's out, but that was after the fact.
Right.
We need to decide, half the board members didn't even know we owned it.
Right. Well, I just.
And it could sit there and, maybe we would have something come in, but are we ever gonna try to do anything else with it?
If we're, my advice, we've talked about liquid properties for the past 2 years. If it's not gonna be a street, then why are we holding it? Why are we not selling it for prime real estate? Because we've got businesses that call every day looking for Main Street frontage. They want to be on Main Street. You've got another business owner who is trying right now to purchase the whole block across from First Citizens and wants to put a multi-story business development there. And he's working on that, and I'm just saying, don't know if it's going to happen. You can't promise anything, but I do know that if we give up Main Street, that everybody wants to be on Main Street. The ice cream shop wanted to be on Main Street, nowhere for them to go. The leather shop would probably rather be on Main Street, nowhere for them to go. And if you want any businesses, any possibility in the future of expanding our downtown corridor, that's all you got. That and the 2 houses behind the station on the corner beside Vic's gas station. That's it. That's the only growth that we've got between 95 and 301.
How about, the Johnson property that's commercial, that takes the whole lot all the way back, D. Johnson's?
It is there and it's available.
Yeah. Have we had any interest in it?
Absolutely, we have.
Great.
But the sellers are very picky.
Okay.
They will, and for right reasons. But
Okay.
a lot of the problem is the square footage of that does not meet a lot of the square footage guidelines of that, and adjacent property owners are not willing to work to make that happen. That's the issue there. Realistically, it's the same way we could have had something behind the gas station, we had 2 out of 3 owners on board, and you had one that's not willing to work. Funerals are gonna happen in the next 20 years. The people that are coming up below them aren't gonna care as much about the dirt as the people that own it today. I would say that's a general fact. So I'm just saying, I just wanna make sure that we all understand, and I want the part to happen. The scare was, it was first going in the Grove. The scare was that the singing board was gonna have an issue with it going in the Grove. And so then we looked at other things, and we said, well, we own property across the street. We do own property across the street. I don't know that the town needs to own the Main Street downtown property, though. I mean, we got enough properties we can't keep up.
You're right.
I mean, realistically, and if we can use that property to bring something that's gonna create income and possibility and opportunity for other people in the town of Benson, we've got a lot of other properties in the
Well,
town.
the town doesn't need to be in the real estate business, and I was not.
Hallelujah.
I was not for that, but it was done just to straighten the street out.
Well, the 95 project killed that when they
Yeah.
said absolutely not. And so now we've got $200,000 in a piece of dirt. And again,
With a tree on it.
with a nice tree on it. So I ask, is the tree the question tonight, or do we need to really think about
Well, from my understanding the other night, this group has already made plans for that property.
Right.
Their thought was just a tree coming down.
Right.
So I'm assuming, from the assumption that I got from them, they think this is set in stone, is where they're gonna be.
Well, we've not
I
voted
mean-
on that, though. This board's not approved that yet. We are the ones that decide where it goes.
Well, evidently, they don't understand that.
I reckon I should have been there Tuesday night then. But I mean, really, but
Well, I guess you
realistically,
should have been.
I mean, but that, I mean, you know, it's just a,
I mean, that was my
I want the veteran
impression.
part to happen, you know, but I mean, the more I think about it, the more I mean, as a real estate agent, the more I sit there and think about that and the DH property and the property behind Vic is all we've got left for this town to grow their downtown district. The 2 houses that face Main Street right across from McDonald's.
Yeah.
Well,
Barefoot.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the understanding that you got, that they assume that they have got this?
Well,
Is that
that-
your understanding? I mean, that's the understanding I got.
The board voted
That's what I thought.
for the committee to go ahead with the plans for that property.
Well, before that, we didn't have plans at all.
But when we get down to the plans and here's what it's gonna be, the board will vote on that. And, they're working right now, they've increased the size to 35 by 45, and it's built for that. So if we're gonna change something, we ought to do it right now.
Yep.
And
And this is the first time I've seen
I'm
the
gonna
updated
leave
drawing.
town if I do, because I'm afraid I'll get shot.
I mean, that was my understanding. You were there. Was that the understanding that you had? They were, to me, under the clear assumption that they had the property.
Because the board was the one that did it, I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not-
It was
No, it
Dean
was-
said, hey, what about that?
No,
property?"
it was Will.
That was over that
Will.
side.
Right.
Yeah, trying to get me shot now.
He was sitting up here that night.
Cause I was all for it going in the Grove.
I don't know, I just thought we should have the conversation. And my next question is, where are they gonna park?
This part
Market
on the-
Street.
on the back.
There's, here,
That's not, you gotta understand, that's not the scale.
Oh,
it's not to scale and it's missing the parking. It's bigger here, if you wanted to see it. See that? Right there's the parking.
I tell you,
okay.
we really need to get our heads together on what you're talking about across from McDonald's and do that right away. If, well, I'll say something that I think we need to talk about that.
Well, I mean,
and get it settled so they can.
And I wanna, I mean, and I wanna ask this, and again, this is gonna bring up an old stick, and I'm not trying to throw. We've not had an update at all from our EDC commission on anything that's going on with economic development in the town. So is there anything going on that we don't know about?
Yeah, and I told you that I would do that tonight, but I am not in a frame of mind to do that tonight. We will at the next meeting, the first meeting in June, unless she tells me that she needs more time than that. Because it'll take about an hour to do what I'll do. And I'll tell you everything I know, but it absolutely has got to stay with us. And I'm counting on doing that. The EDC board did.
So closed session.
Yeah.
I think the drawing looks great though. I like the crosses, I like the flag. I'm assuming those are six flags behind benches. I think the drawing is great.
Yeah, and I think their
But you can't
thought is,
place that on any piece of property.
Yeah.
You did that to Matt Smith said, let's put it out there at the ball field. We talked about the Grove. We are a property poor town. Didn't he say something about putting it in the ball field?
I don't know, but we need to decide something, because now I'm serious. They think that they already have that property.
The only
Was
property
the
they
assumption
own in
that
the
I
town of
got.
Benson's on 301.
Well, has anyone approached the town about purchasing this property?
We've not made any.
we've not advertised it, no ma'am. I mean, the way that Woodall Street went to bid, I mean, I would assume it would be a pretty hot commodity. I mean, we sold Woodall Street for well over
That was just
market
for
price.
A builder to build a house,
Yeah.
a spec house or something, that lot would absolutely be valuable.
Mhm.
But we would tell you more is there than mine, but I do a lot of real estate, I was going to be in demand.
But, she needs to go back and look and see what the real motion was that was made that night. But
To move forward with planning, if that's on that parcel and bring it to the board to make a decision.
It was at the
That's
one
what
that
it was.
William did.
after it was all designed.
For the land? What are you saying? What did you say?
Do you
I
remember
missed
what
The
that.
motion that the board made a few weeks ago was to give the committee the ability to move forward with plans to present to the
I
board
got
for
it.
our approval.
You got it?
my minutes right here.
What did
It
you
was
say?
at the, April
April
12th
meeting.
meeting, and,
Who made the motion?
hold on.
I probably made it.
No.
Commissioner Chandler made a motion.
See, I told you,
It was just said, it was to move forward with the plans and then bring them back to the board.
Is that what it says?
Yes, that's what I've got in my, and I've got it recorded, so, I mean, we.
Well, that's a good thing.
We've got the plan. I mean, as a committee, I would say that's the first time we've had a plan. So now we've got a plan.
Well,
so-
but there's somebody gonna draw that to scale.
Uh-huh.
I don't do that scale. I didn't know the person. Does anything else needs to come before the board? Did you finish?
The only other thing I have is look at your events around town. There's the museum coffee hour is June the 3rd. Sundown and Downtown concert is June the 9th. Friday Night Hoops is going to start back up on June the 10th. And we have summer reading story time starts on June the 13th. And Derek has a very robust summer prepared for our kids of Benson. So I'm excited to see what he does this summer. And Parks and Rec does too, with their summer camps. So it'll be a busy summer.
I really encourage the members of the board and the people in town to go to Friday Night Hoops. If you don't go over and spend the night, it's all right, but they always like to see outsiders in there, and those kids have got a real place to play ball now. I reckon, have they got the goals up, Matt? Sir, have the goals up now?
The basketball goals or
Yeah.
the baseball fences?
The basketball goal.
Basketball goals are up.
So they can play a lot of teams there now. So, Ike,
I don't have anything.
Max,
I'm good.
Maxie.
I don't know, but what tomorrow, will you have the trash people come pick up the trash at the house behind me, which is Reggie's house?
Yeah,
They didn't get it today.
yeah, absolutely.
That's the only thing I have for right now.
What is his address? Can you tell me real quick?
207 Johnson Street.
Will?
Well, I'd just like to say, I appreciate the police department, the vagrants that we have been, that they have been working with. They pulled the laws, and now I'm aware of what they can and can't do. But in the last 2 weeks, they have locked up 3 and gained 1. So a new one, I think, came in from Dunn, and they're trying to figure out just what we can do. It's if they do not catch them with drugs or in somebody else's house, they cannot arrest them. They can arrest them for trespassing, or they can arrest them for drugs. As far as walking in the middle of the street or stopping cars in line at McDonald's and following them up, and some of these cars have out-of-state tags on it, and they're beating on the windows for them to roll down the window, and it scares the crap out of most of them. And some of them, I saw one just pull on off and hit 301 and head toward the bridge again, and that's probably what I would do. But it's the same ones that are walking up, and every one of them's got a sad story. They don't to me because I know them, and it's just I appreciate the meeting, and I appreciate what y'all boys are doing, Greg. Stay on it. If you come up with anything that we can back you on, let us know.
William?
One thing I'll say is just congratulations to Public Works. I talked with Jeremy a little bit this afternoon. He said things seem to be going well, so good job with the inspection, and other than that, I don't have anything to report. No, sir.
You have anything, Angie?
No, I'm good.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make the motion that we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Thank you.
What do you think about it?
I got two of them.